They say betrayal doesn't come from enemies. It comes from the people you die protecting. That night, I learned how true that was. One sentence, 10 words, and everything I'd built for my family shattered. My house, my father said, isn't your home anymore. I remember the silence that followed, the kind that doesn't echo, it suffocates. My name's Elena Ward, 34 years old. For years, I'd been holding my parents' house together, the bills, the repairs, even that shiny new fridge my mother loved showing off. I'm an environmental engineer, numbers and systems are what I understand best. But nothing prepares you for the kind of equation where love turns into debt, and loyalty turns into eviction. That Sunday was supposed to be dinner. Roast beef, candles, the same worn-out jokes. Instead, my brother, Ryan, leaned back in his chair with a smirk that told me something was off. His wife, Clara, sat beside him, her diamond bracelet catching the light, and the smugness in her eyes catching me off guard. When Dad leaned forward, his voice was colder than I'd ever heard it. "You can take the guest room," he said, "or move out." The fork slipped from my hand, clattering against the plate. The sound felt like a gunshot. Ryan didn't waste a second. "Better if you're gone by tomorrow," he added, like he'd been waiting his whole life to say it. I tried to speak, my voice trembling. "I've paid for everything in this house. The mortgage. The electric. The new water heater. Even your damn refrigerator." But Dad just waved me off. "It's decided." Mom said nothing. Just stared at her plate as if the pattern in the china was more important than her daughter breaking apart. I remember standing there, heart pounding, face burning, and saying, "Fine. I'm gone." That night, I packed every piece of myself that still belonged to me, my TV, my couch, even the coffee maker I'd bought last Christmas. I walked out without looking back. For a week, I tried to convince myself it didn't hurt. I rented a small apartment downtown, started yoga because my coworker Gloria said it helps people release pain. But pain doesn't leave. It just learns to whisper instead of scream. And just when I started to rebuild, my phone rang. It was my mother. Her voice was shaking. In the background, I heard Ryan yelling, "She's lying, Mom. Tell me she's lying." That was the moment I realized something had gone very, very wrong. Years before that night, I'd moved back home to help after my grandmother died. Dad's business was failing, the roof leaked, the bills piled up. So I stayed, even when I got promotions elsewhere, even when friends told me I was sacrificing too much. But Ryan, he always had ideas. Food trucks, crypto apps, miracle investments, all gone before they started. Yet Dad would still call him the dreamer. To him, I was just the helper. Then Ryan met Clara. Perfect smile. Perfect hair. Perfect lies. She said she sold real estate, but her lifestyle screamed something else. Designer bags, luxury cars, vacations to places she couldn't possibly afford. When I asked questions, she'd laugh, tilt her head, and say, "Oh, Elena, you wouldn't understand business." But I did. And I understood numbers. Hers didn't add up. A month after I moved out, I called an old contact, Michael, a real estate consultant. I asked if he'd heard of Clara's agency. He paused for a long time before saying, "Elena, her company's under investigation. Fake appraisals, stolen funds. She's bad news." I remember sitting there, the phone slipping from my hand, the air leaving my lungs. All I could think was, my family trusted her more than me. When I tried to warn Dad, he said, "Don't interfere." When I told Mom, she whispered, "Let them be happy." Happy? With a fraud who was stealing the roof over their heads. 2 weeks later, I got another call from Mom. "Elena," she whispered, "there are people here, asking for Clara." I drove like a maniac. When I pulled into the driveway, there were 2 investigators standing at the door, badges gleaming under the porch light. They asked for Clara, said she was wanted for fraudulent property loans, money laundering, and forging signatures. Dad looked pale. Ryan's hands were shaking. And in that moment, I didn't feel vindicated. I felt sick. Because the house, our house, was in her name too. Then, across the street, headlights flashed. Clara's car. I hit record on my phone and walked toward her. "Clara," I said quietly. Her smile faltered. "What do you want?" "I know everything," I told her. "The fake loans. The forged documents. The money you stole." She didn't deny it. She just smirked, that same confident, venomous smirk. "They signed the papers, Elena. They trusted me. That's on them." And then she drove away, leaving my family in ruins. That night, I stood in the driveway staring at the house I'd sacrificed everything for. It was dark inside. Silent. And for the first time, I realized, I wasn't losing a family. I was losing an illusion. Sometimes blood doesn't make people family. Sometimes family is just a lesson, a brutal one, teaching you who deserves your loyalty and who only deserves your absence. That if you've ever been betrayed by the people you trusted most, tell me in the comments. Did you walk away, or did you fight to stay? Because me, I walked away, and this time, I never looked back.